Done mine shortly. Mishnah, Kaddish. Antonigus Yitzchak Mayhem, and Antonigus was the couple from who? From Shmaya Batalia. Mayhem. I'll see you Kavodim, Hamsham Sharab. You should be like those servants. We serve your master, Al-Nasla Kavod Pras, in order to be rewarded. And we'll see you Kavodim should be like servants who serve your master, Shaloi Al-Nasla Kavod Pras. Not to look forward to any sort of reward. Then the Risha continues, the Heve Meir Shemayim Aleichem, a tall order that there should constantly you should fear heaven, should fear the Rebbeinu Shalom at all times. What's the snichus haparshis between the Tziyach Havaram Shashis Amasa Kavod Pras and Meir Shemayim Aleichem? First of all, I want to thank very much. It's very appreciated. We have an item here of Yidei Sefer Talmidei Chachamim of Yeshiva Light, and it's a Mokum Shemakirin. It was unfortunately it was years ago in America. It was a Midbar B'Soich Midbar. They were Gedolim. You couldn't measure their godless, it was so great. There was the Rav Yaakov Yosef, there was Rav Levenberg, and they were before their time. Rav Yaakov Yosef was a tremendous godel, and his controversies not being recognized as godless, it cost him his health, not recognized. From that, the azus, the arrogance, and the amaratzis that ruled the day, the darkness, was incredible. So it was announced that he's going to speak a Shabbat Shuvah Droshi, a Shabbat Shuvah. The whole town, it was a tremendous gathering. So when he got to speak, he said, the Rambam says, in Hilchos, and then he stopped for a minute, and then he started again. The Rambam says in Hilchos, twice or three times he started, then he says, Rabbi Sai, and I copied it. Look what happens to a human being. I, who was bookie in the Rambam, every single word of Rambam, from beginning to end, he says, I can't even remember what I wanted to say. Look what's very being. That, of course, was the most pathetic and most heartwarming Shabbos Shuvah, legendary, imaginable. Then there was Rav Levenberg, a tremendous godel. He was speaking on Parshas Koirach. He was speaking about the evils of Machlokes. So after his drosha, a Yid comes over to him and says, Rebbe, he says, I know the whole time you're pointing your finger at me. What's your smear? So Rabbi says, who meant you? I was thinking about Koirach. First of all, Koirach was a Talmud Chochem. Second thing, Koirach was a Gevir. Third thing, Koirach was a Meyuchis. I never meant you. Give her back. So that's the choshech that ruled the order of the day at that time. Hashem, that appreciated our Torah. There was during the Milchomeh, so they were trying to, at different times, trying to raise money from the jaws of the gas chambers Tzrat Yidden. So there was a mass meeting in one of the bigger Jewish cities in America, and a Rav came that evening to speak and make the appeal. They need to raise quickly a large sum to bribe some of those that would help. And he made a parallel to Chomer, the fight to do Chesed Hatzos Nefoshes. You have to learn from regular generals that conduct battles. That's one of the famous General MacArthur. He said that you have to learn from him how he catches the Japanese off guard with his different tactics. So we also have to catch the enemy, Yimach Shimon B'Zichram Nazi, off guard and try to Tzrat Yidden. So when the meeting was over, people were left, and the passerby saw streaming across the Medrash in the middle of the week. It's not Shabbos, not Yontif, not Yom Kippur. So he approached one of those that were coming out of shul. He says, what went on? What? He says, there was a big Rav from New York. He made an appeal for MacArthur. Okay. But here, Baruch Hashem, there was he wanted to build a mikveh in a town in Eretz Yisrael. So they found a younger man was very capable. So they approached him. They told him the Gil needs a mikveh desperately, and they liked him. He should undertake the task, but of course they don't want him to do for nothing. He's a yid with a mishpacha, with a family, with children, so they want to make sure to pay him. So he says, no, Cholila, I want to do it to Shem Shemaim, I don't want to take any money. So the Chazon Ish told him like this, my entire yid, he said, if you do it for money, it will be the Shem Shemaim. But if you do it without money, that will be for COVID. So it's a very fine line between the Shem Shemayim and between being and what's not the Shem Shemayim. The Shemayim Aleichem, I may have told the story before. There was a Yid came to the founder of the Reform movement, Aaron Horn, and he told me, he says, he wants to call somebody to Din Torah before him. Horn asked, where do you come from? So he told him, he knew that city had Rabbanim, Talmid Chacham, were son. He says, why do you come to me? You have big Rabbanim in your town. Why do you come to me? He says, I'll tell you why I come to you. He says, one who I want to call to Din Torah is the Rebbeinu Shalom. He says, I have a lot of kindness. I have a lot of complaints, grievances against the Rebbeinu Shalom. But the other Rabbanim, they have Yerushalayim. They're afraid of the Rebbeinu Shalom. I'm afraid I won't get a fair Din Torah. You're not afraid of the Rebbeinu Shalom. You'll get a fair Din Torah. Yerushalayim Aleichem. Malochem was because of Yerushalayim, Yerushalayim Aleichem, that makes us steig and grow and become greater and greater from day to day. What we were yesterday is like that. Our Yerushalayim, our HaKadosh HaBaruch, to recognize the greatness of the Baruch Shalom, the Baruch Shemayim, should be such that we should grow from day to day. The Chazal bring that when Yaakov Avinu and Esau came before Yitzchak, the father of Avinu, came for a bracha. So Yitzchak Avinu was his sight, he had lost his sight. I'll say, where did he lose his sight from? He said he couldn't tell who was Esau and who was Yankee. Rivki Imenu was able to dress up Yaakov Avinu, make his hand appear hairy like Esau. So the Chazal say, where did he lose his sight from? He said that when the B'nai put Avraham Avinu to the test, Kachno es bincho es techidcho, to take his only son and bring him to Akiva. So they looked down and they saw that Avraham Avinu is ready. He was misspelled so much, and Shlomo was misspelled so much, until they finally had a son. And here he's going to be bringing to sacrifice him. They looked down the Malachim and they cried. And the tears went in Yitzchak Avinu's eyes, and those tears affected his sight. The question is, Malachim, they know the Rebbeinu Shalom, nothing is hidden from them. Not like us. We don't know what's going upstairs. What we think is bad is going to, I'll tell you the first. We have no idea what to say. So what the end result will be. For what we're shocked, we're concerned, we're respond, we're fast, place. It's a terrible tragedy for me. But I'll tell you first. Allah knows. They know that it's fully toy. Whatever the B'nai Shalom does from the beginning to end, it's fully toy. So why did they cry? They cried because he saw when Avraham Avinu got hesitation, he went to go shecht his son Yitzchak. How much he grew from that, from not passing that supreme Nisoyin, that supreme test, passing that test, and from that test he grew so much. It was a different Avraham Avinu, and they, Malachim, can't grow. Malach, the way he was created, that's the way he is, in whole existence. So they cried because the envy, they cried from kineh, they cried because the human being, look what a treasure a human being has, he can grow and grow and grow, and they cannot grow. The Pia Molochai. Godel Shimush Yoshim Mudo. Kibleihem. We live from this Torah, only from tradition. What we learn halacha is absolutely. But Pia Molochai, it's watching and seeing the maisim of Gedolim, how they conduct themselves, the PM, whatever they say, what they do, whatever they do, that really is what the whole Torah is all about. That's the Moshe Kibul Torah Misinai. That's the Torah that we're Makabel, that whatever Hanhogi, conduct, whatever they do, how they eat, how they drink, how they sleep, how they sit, whatever they do, how they walk, how they breathe, whatever they do, that's our Messiah. Hanadi ben Akash Oimer, Rotso, HaKadosh Baruch Hu Zakis Yisrael, Ketika Kibram Torah Misri.